Hey, very good morning. My name is Fabio and welcome back to another daily market outlook. Still recording here from Sao Paulo in Brazil, and nothing has changed. It's currently 5 a.m. in the morning, so I'm putting the alarm a little bit earlier to come back out with those daily market outlooks as we do every single day. Now, this afternoon, guys, we're going to be going live here on YouTube, so make sure to tune in. 2:30 Central Eastern Time on New York Open. Now, without further ado, EURUSD here has been making a retracement since last night, and we have seen a further push back in towards this area of daily demand. Now, the daily fractal structure, guys, still remains bullish from this low, which I marked out in towards this high. Now, obviously, we've now seen a retracement into this refined area of daily demand, and there is still potential for EURUSD to head up higher. Now, yesterday, personally, I did not take any trades due to there being a lot of uncertainty within the market. If you do a little bit of digging and a little bit of reading, then you will clearly understand that there was a major sell-off globally when it comes to stocks, when it comes to crypto, due to that deep shark kind of statement that was made about them having 50,000 chips of NVIDIA there in China, and that they would be able to do what ChatGPT has been doing, or what OpenAI has been doing, 1%, let's say, less good, but 95% cheaper. This caused a global sell-off in AI stocks, in crypto, and therefore we have seen a flee of money, or we've seen a shift of money into safe havens such as the Japanese yen, such as the Swiss franc, but also the US dollar. So when we have a lot of uncertainty in the market, and let's say major stock markets, crypto markets are all selling off, you'll very often see that the dollar becomes a lot stronger, and that was one of the major reasons for EURUSD to start selling off, because when the dollar becomes stronger, euro dollar starts going down. Therefore, I decided, okay, let's stay out of positions. Let's see what news comes out and what the next statements are going to be. Now, we've already seen that a lot of people kind of interpreted in the wrong way what was said, because actually Deep Shark, obviously being another AI company but based in China, having all of those NVIDIA chips is actually a bullish thing for AI and for NVIDIA itself. But yeah, you can see NVIDIA has been selling off in towards the downside very, very steeply. I think they lost over $100 or $500 billion in market cap alone yesterday. Now, obviously, without further ado, let's just have a look at what EURUSD is doing. So EURUSD is inside daily demand still, so there is still potential for some further upside. Now, we do need to keep in mind that at this point in time, this here is your swing high, this here is your swing low, and this here is your break of structure. So yes, we are still bearish from here a daily swing perspective. However, we do need to understand that if we look at the weekly, there is still a lot more potential for some further upside. Guys, the weekly time frame is always going to be stronger than the daily, especially if you see here we have a weekly fractal shift in structure, and we have this weekly swing low positioned right over here, under which we grab liquidity. We see that reversal up higher, and then what we see is that obviously the change of character, and now we're just retracing into demand. So a sell-off on EURUSD is actually nothing bad at all. It only will provide us with a better potential buying opportunity. Now, obviously, I will shift my bias if we do see a shift on EURUSD. Let's say we do break this low over here, then I will be very cautious with looking at any further buys on euro dollar, because the daily fractal structure is my main indicator to understand, are we heading up higher or are we heading down lower. So for now, as long as this black line over here holds, I am still looking and interested in further upside for euro dollar. But let's say that that black line does break, then I will be a little bit more cautious, and I'll be waiting for another new, let's say, daily fractal break up higher. But then we need a double fractal break just to confirm the bullish trend again, because otherwise what could just happen is that we just retrace and then we just sell off again. So being a little bit cautious here, what is going to happen next, I'll be monitoring the 4-hour time frame as well, because here on the 4-hour you can see that that area of 4-hour demand from yesterday, because yesterday morning we did actually see a push up higher, but then during the New York session, New York started buying the dollar once again. But here you can see the daily or the 4-hour fractal structure shift. This was then the 4-hour fractal low, this the fractal high. A lot of people saw this as demand, then they see this bullish candle and they were planning to go long. However, you need to really understand that it was a very risky trade, and preferably you still want to see a deeper retracement on the daily, and this is why I don't really trade Mondays. I kind of wait for Tuesday, because then the real direction will be chosen more likely than not. So let's wait and see what happens inside this demand zone, and if the 4-hour time frame can start doing something. Not looking for any lower time frame trades on the 15 or the 1 hour at all. Going into the dollar index next, we can see that the dollar index has retraced up higher as well. That is something also that I'm not a massive fan of. Yesterday we did see a tap and go, in the sense that here we tapped into that supply zone and straight away we sold off in towards the downside. However, we've now reached that area of daily demand, which I mentioned in yesterday's video as well. So now we have demand fighting against supply. This demand zone is currently in control against this area of supply. well, this supply zone is in control in the sense that this over here is your fractal high on the daily. This here is your fractal low. We're now making a beautiful retracement all the way back up into premium, above the 50% fib retracement level. Now we are still bearish here on daily fractal structure, so I'm still interested in looking for shorts. As you can see, we're at that 618. If you were to refine the daily supply zone, this would be it. However, we need to see the 4-hour shift structure again, because if you go onto the 4-hour, then you'll very clearly see, okay, here we have push down, retracement, push down, and then you would have preferably wanted to see this high get respected over here, and then just the markets continue down lower again. So now us breaking structure over here is kind of like a little bit of a bullish sign. So therefore I'll just wait to see what happens inside that daily supply zone, and I'll only be engaging with shorts once again once we see a little bit more bearish confirmation on the dollar. Now going into AUDUSD, AUDUSD itself has also sold off pretty aggressively. It failed to respect this area of demand over here, so that's why I'm currently staying out of AUDUSD. Despite it still being bullish, guys, we can still see that this over here is your fractal low. This here is still your fractal high. If we go up a time frame into the weekly, we can still see that it is looking very, very nice for some further upside. We swept that liquidity low here on the weekly time frame, and after sweeping it, we've seen a push in towards the highs, right? So this V-shaped reversal causing what a weekly fractal structure shift. So ultimately what we've seen here is the push down with the downtrend, and then what happens that we saw the push up, we saw the retracement, and we saw another push up. So weekly is still looking bullish. We still have demand that is in control, so I'm only going to be looking for shorts pretty much on Aussie dollar once we break this low again of this bullish candle. And that's the only point in time that I'm really going to be looking for the shorts. For now, we're inside weekly demand. If we look at the daily, there is also still a lot of room for it to push up higher, obviously, but we need to see bullish confirmation. Like because I can keep on saying AUDUSD, EU, they can all go up, but they all need to see bullish confirmation, because I'm not personally just going to start randomly buying at the 618, because what could happen is that the market just keeps on pushing down lower, right? So what I'll be waiting for is the bullish confirmation on the lower time frame, being the 4-hour, being the 1-hour, and then I'll be waiting for the structural shifts before I take any long positions on. Now looking here at the daily, we don't really have any clear demand zones left. That's why I'm personally staying out of AU for now here on the daily. But if I look at this, obviously it's just nice that we're seeing a retracement. We've now seen a retracement exactly into where? In towards the 0.5 fib retracement level. So what I then do is I go in towards the 4-hour time frame. And what do I see? We swept the equal lows, for example, that we have over here, and on the 4-hour time frame, we still have a fresh area of demand, for example, positioned over here. Turn on the 50% body candle indicator, and you will see that we have two 50% body candles over here, and after that, we see a strong impulse up higher. Now, this is now my area of demand. I'll be looking to see what the market does inside of there. Again, I'm not going to be buying in there. I'm going to be waiting for bullish confirmation in the form of this, a change of character, to confirm that this demand zone is valid and that we can then go long, because otherwise we could just see this retracement in towards supply and then another sell-off again. So let's wait for that to happen. So also no trades for me on the lower time frame for now. Going into GBPUSD, GBPUSD, if you're looking for any shorts on these pairs, is maybe the most beautiful one in the sense that we have the most clear bearish trend. What we have here is obviously, first of all, overall swing bearish. Now, if we look at the direct trend, we could say that this is a break of structure, this is a swing high, this is a swing low. So if I were to draw in a Fibonacci retracement level, we could see that we've now tapped in towards that 0.5 fib over here, and we're now seeing some bearish pressure. Now, what I am waiting for personally on GBPUSD here is, okay, we've tapped in towards this supply zone. You could say that this entire buy before the sell is your supply zone. We tap into it, and what I now want to see is the bearish confirmation. So this here is your daily fractal low. We need to wait for that low to go. We need to see the retracement, and that is where I'll get in on a potential short, guys. That is the only short that I see here on GBPUSD. So I'll be waiting for that to happen. If it does happen, obviously, for now, the overall market structure is still bullish. When I talk about fractal structure, and fractal structure is just the structure of the individual candlesticks here. So we're seeing the push up, retracement, push up, retracement, push up. This is obviously just a pullback, because the overall structure is this is your high and this is your low. When I look at fractal structure, so I always use two sorts of structure, swing and fractal. When I look at the swing, I see, okay, we're overall swing down, all right? Even this high in towards this low is kind of like your swing. And then if I look at the fractal structure, I see this is your fractal high, this is your fractal low. So now we're just seeing an internal pullback in towards the upside. The 4-hour time frame is also still very, very bullish. You can see here we get the push up, retracement, push up, retracement, push up, retracement, push up, retracement. And now I'm just looking to see if we can kind of like break through that. At this point in time, we're still in this demand zone. So I'll be waiting to see if we can get sign, kind of like a structural shift. Then we get the pullback, and then I'll just be looking to see if we can get some bearish confirmation again. That's the only way that I'll really be looking for shorts on GU, because otherwise you could just still look for some further upside here today, because euro dollar is still daily fractal bullish and showing too many signs that it still wants that up higher. But if daily fractal on EU obviously shifts as well bearish, then I'll also be looking for shorts on GU. Going into NZDUSD, we can see that we've also gotten a deeper retracement. NZDUSD is not looking fantastic, I would say. At this point in time, we're still inside this area of daily demand. So if we want to see any buys on NU, it starts to need pushing very, very soon. Remember, this is the supply zone that is open. This is the demand zone that is currently in control. I marked out the fractal structure here with the dots. You can very clearly see we get the push down, then we get the push up again, we get the push down, push up, push down, push up. So now we're in between this high here and this low, and we're now inside a demand zone. So if that demand zone is actually valid, it should push the market up higher. So what happened yesterday is that we saw a strong sell-off on NU. This is what I wanted to see, because here we had a nice liquidity low, right? So in the overall impulse up, you have like liquidity. We've grabbed liquidity now, and now what we need to see is a shift in the market structure. So I need this high over here to break on the 4 hour, then I need a retracement into that demand zone, and then I'll go into the lower time frame, being the 1 hour, the 15-minute time frame, to then look for an entry to potentially go long up higher. So a lot of things need to form still on these major dollar pairs before I personally want to get involved, and that is what I'm waiting for. Now, last of all, gold, and this also, by the way, goes for the lower time frame setups that you might want to be trading. Now, last of all, we have gold here. So gold, I mentioned that yesterday I was looking for a long position. Very, very simple, guys. What we had here was obviously daily fractal structure being bullish. So yesterday, this was your low and this was your high, and I identified this as the sell before the buy or imbalance, which was my area of daily demand. I then went into the 4 hour time frame, and what I identified over there was that we saw a nice bullish structure shift after grabbing liquidity underneath this low, right? So we see the boom, big push up. But more interesting was the 1 hour time frame, because on the 1 hour time frame you saw the fractal structure shift, right? So you grab liquidity underneath the range, you tap in towards this demand zone, and then from that demand zone you see bullish confirmation. So you see push down, pull back, push down, boom, big push up. This becomes your demand zone. So now I was looking for a long inside of that demand zone on the 15-minute to then enter. But you can very clearly see that on the 15-minute time frame, we have a structural shift down, which facilitated the overall pullback in towards the overall demand zone. But then once we reach that demand zone, we just remain very, very bearish. You can see that every single time supply is still in control. There was no demand chain at all. So yeah, every single time the buy before the sell just remained in control as a supply zone. So there was no opportunity for myself to start looking for any buy opportunities on gold. Therefore, I personally stayed out as the overall impulse down was just way too impulsive, or the overall pullback was just way too impulsive. And then you can see you would have hit stop loss on gold there. Looking at the 4 hour, and the reason why, by the way, I was looking for additional confirmation on gold inside of that demand zone was because the 4 hour fractal structure was bearish here. So here we had the fractal high, here we had the fractal low, and as you can see from that point onwards, we just start selling off. This over here was your fractal high on the 4 hour. This over here was your fractal low at the time. And then you see we made a retracement in towards that imbalance. And then from there, we just sold off once again. So that's why I was being very cautious with those longs, and I was waiting for the lower time frame confirmation because the 4 hour fractal was still bearish. So that's it for today. Looking here at gold, I'm not really getting into anything at this point in time. The daily fractal structure has shifted bearish, so I would be looking at us reaching this demand zone again, and then I'll reevaluate my options for either looking at a long or not, because at this point in time we can very obviously see that the buy before the sell here is in control. So supply is now in control. And why is it in control, guys? And why can I very clearly say that? Because here we have a daily fractal structure shift. So ultimately what you're just seeing is the push up, retracement, push up, boom, break, which happens over here. And then from there, we're just starting to sell off. So let's wait for a demand zone to get hit again before looking for any new potential longs on gold. So for now, more focused on some short-term shorts. So that's it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure to attend the live session this afternoon and have an amazing day.